order situation. Also, too, we're not set up for a lot of phones. Okay, and if I started allowing phone orders to come in, it would be a real zoo in there. As is now, it already is, and I can't get too much done. But
and we have them here too. The club stocking crazy.
Yeah, and I try and make this stuff available to as many dealers and stuff as want it. And I hate paying B of A 4% of my business. And I'm sorry.
The next question was about Craig co-hosting a conference on CompuServe. That will occur now on April 30th.
Saturday, yes.
On Saturday, April 30th, if you are on CompuServe, there'll be a conference with Craig. And
March.
Jeff.
March.
March. Ooh, sorry, March 30th.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, can something be done to initialize the speech synthesizer such that each keystroke will be repeated by speech without having to run a program to do this? Is there some sort of peak that might do this so that the blind users can hear each keystroke as they entered it?
No, there isn't a peak or a poke that'll do that. You can, however, write an interrupt-driven routine that would take each keystroke that is placed on the screen and pass it out to the speech synthesizer, and it will speak each letter at that time. You could get real fancy with it, and if it forms a word that's a valid vocabulary word, then go ahead and allow it to speak. If you're running with the TE2, you could hook up with that and allow it to do a text-to-speech, but it must be an interrupt-driven routine that you must write and load into memory.
Okay,
No. Oh, it's slow. Yes, true. Yes, it would be real slow. Yeah, every letter you typed, by the time it scanned the ROM, find the right letter to speak the right allophones, pass the right predictive coding out to the speech synthesizer and came back to you, it would be really like typing on butter. Really slow. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay.
The question from Hector Santos. Why is there a limit on the number of bytes you can say to tape?
That's just something that TI set up in their cassette DSR, which is part of it's in ROM, part of it is in GROM. And what it is that the entire program that you're saving to cassette must fit in VDP RAM. That is the limitation. So by doing a call files 1, you can increase that size a little bit, or if you use a routine that we had put out in one of the newsletters to turn off the disk controller card entirely, then you can use all of the available VDP program space to save that much. But the limitation is still 13,800 bytes or something like that. So that's the limitation. It's only there because of what TI did in their DSR. There's no reason why tape can't handle anything larger than that.
How is the video display stored in memory? What locations? Any difference between text, graphics, or multicolor modes in the way information is stored?
Okay, we'll revert back to that 9918A manual for the one stuff. And as far as where's the screen, we discussed the memory. Okay.
Please expound on the AVDP chip and possibilities without to the 99.4A. I think you sort of indicated they may not
Yes.
go through with that.
Yes, it appears that way. There's no guarantees. I'm not in touch with TI Semiconductor. They don't tell me their plans, but it just seems to be the rumor.
Okay, explain steps necessary to rewrite a program that is not compatible with the Qualcomm card. Software companies do not seem to be interested. For example, disk mapper and disk copy.
That's because they didn't go through the subprogram headers to find the right subprogram. That's why they're not compatible. So if they follow that routine and finally find the address, they'll make them compatible real easy with any disk controller card that's out there that has that valid subprogram name in it.
Okay, my question was, did you ever feel that the TI was designed to black box out the unapproved user? What were the stumbling blocks, if any, to mastering the system? And finally, what about the interrupt vector at 0006? Interrupt, I don't know, 2 vector? I can't read.
Oh, let me too? Let's read that to me again, please. First, let's take it in parts. It seems to be a 3-part question.
Did you ever feel that the TI was designed to black box out the unapproved user?
Yeah, TI always locked everything up in the beginning. As we all know, they wouldn't allow you to do anything. GROM, they wouldn't release source code. They wouldn't tell you anything about the machine other than basic, extended basic, and they gave you an editor assembler with a reference manual, but never told you how to write assembly language for the machine. So many of us stayed awake late nights, or attempted to stay awake late nights reading the manual, and found it to be a wonderful cure for insomnia, and got nowhere. We just had to go on our own. TI wasn't a lot of help, and I think now in talking with recently had an opportunity to talk to TI marketing with Terry and also with Bill Whitmore from the Washington, D.C. group. And in talking with them, they appeared to have maybe learned from a few of their past mistakes, and they appear to be changing their ways, at least on their new computers, the bigger from computers that's coming out from the data systems group. They're allowing source codes to be released, and they seem to be more in support of third-party companies and third-party software companies to produce things for the machine. I think they realized that in locking this machine up so tight, it was one of the things that contributed to its death. Well, it's not dead. That was a wrong statement. It is not dead by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one of the things that contributed to them dropping the machine out.
The second part of the question was, I believe you addressed, what were the stumbling blocks preventing from mastering the system? Night oil, huh? Night oil.
Yeah, humble now. Yes. If you place an address of a routine that's in low memory or high memory expansion at 83C4, and if that address is the start address of a routine for you, it will be driven on interrupts, or it will be attempted to be executed 60 times per second, provided it isn't too large. So if it's a small routine, it now becomes what we call an interrupt-driven routine, and it is automatically executed 60 times a second on BDP interrupts, and it returns back to you from wherever it left off. So by placing, again, the start address at 83C4 and then doing a LIMI2 in your assembly language programs, you will enable this interrupt to be executed. And that's what we call an interrupt-driven routine. So like in fourth, you know, the fourth demo that has all the nice music and the stuff, well, all that music is interrupt-driven, so that ISR hook has been loaded. Of course, the fourth interrupt routine is a little different than this, but we'll just use that for an example. And so that music is played on interrupts. So that means that since it is being done on interrupts, you could go out and do an edit or something if you patch that program slightly. You could be editing with the screen editor while the music is playing. That's basically what an interrupt-driven routine is. It means two things can appear to be happening simultaneously. They are not, but it appears that way.
Found a question on the back that says,
oh, no.
Address for the widget.
Address for the widget?
Where was address?
I don't know, to be honest. I think, who's that, Navarone?
Yes, that's Navarone.
And I don't know what they cost, and I don't know their address.
No, I meant,
where is it?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, well, that's in GROM and ROM. That's the cartridge GROM and the cartridge ROM that we showed on those maps, which is 6,000 in both cases. Hex 6,000 in GROM and Hex 6,000 in ROM. That's it.
We did not get a cable, right?
Right.
That's okay.
We have
Late.
three modulators.
There's three modulators and no audio cable. Well, before we say goodnight to Craig, are there any final questions?
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight, Craig, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
I personally appreciate
Good night, Craig.
Craig, and I think everyone will get a chance to see the video.
I hope it works out this time. I don't want to do it again.